Hello my dear students, welcome to Technogate. Today we are going to start a very wonderful subject, and the name of the subject is none other than your lovely physics. So this is the subject which we are going to start. All of you from the beginning of your studies must be hearing about this word. All of you must be wondering what is physics. Now this is the time and this is the class to realize and feel what physics is actually. I will be taking the entire physics one by one, and I assure you, you will be feeling and realizing and seeing in the surroundings what physics actually is. Alright, so let us begin with the subject, my dear students. Now when we talk about the subject, when we talk about what physics is, first of all we must understand from where this wonderful term came. What is the origin of this term? All of you must be reading so many definitions about physics. All of you must be hearing what physics is. Today I will tell you what actually physics is. Now this physics term is coming from a Greek word. It is coming from a Greek word. Now when I say Greek, Greek is a language. Greek is a language, some other language, like we speak English, like you speak some other languages. Similarly, we have one other language. The name of the language is Greek. And in the Greek, the origin of the physics lies. In the Greek, the word actually is F-U-S-I-S, fuses. The actual word from where the physics came is the fuses. So, the entire journey of the physics began with a Greek word named as fuses. This is clear to you. Now, what is the meaning of the fuses? The meaning of the fuses and hence physics, the meaning will be same. So this term physics derived from the word physics, the meaning of which is something which is coming from the nature, something which is originating from the nature, something which is present physically in the nature. I am giving you the keyword here. The keyword is something which is existing naturally or physically in the nature. Getting my point? We will be discussing it in more details, don't worry. So, till now we got one concept very clear in our mind, that physics is what? Physics is coming from a Greek word meaning the fuses, and the meaning of the word fuses is nothing but, I'll mention it to you, the meaning of the term fuses is study of nature or physically occurring things, You will be realizing, you will be feeling it, you will be seeing the physics in your surroundings when I'm going to teach you. Alright, so let us proceed. The meaning of fuses is what? The meaning of fuses is naturally occurring. So something which is occurring naturally is named as fuses, and the study of the nature or naturally or physically occurring things will be known as physics. The point must be clear to all of you, right? So let us proceed to making it very clear, to making it more clear that what are the things which are present in the surroundings which will be forming the subject physics. Alright, so let us move to the next page. Now, when I say physics, I will write this in center now. Now, every one of us is going to see it in the surroundings. Now, I am standing here. What are the things which are physically occurring or the forces which are surrounding me? The number one thing due to which you people are able to see me is light. The very first thing is light. Now, the second thing due to which you people are able to hear me, is sound. Third third thing, you must be sitting at your home, you must be sitting at some library, you must be sitting at some campus or the college, you must be feeling hot or cold, right? The third thing comes is heat. Now this pen is made up of something, and that something is, let us say, atom. That is atom. Now when we try to go uphill, all of you must have traveled to hills some or the other time. When we travel uphill, we must observe there is some difference in the pressure. You must have observed the temperature variation. When we are going up the hill, what you find that at the bottom of the hill the temperature is a bit high, but when we are going up the hill, temperature is low. Similarly, the pressure also varies. What is the variation of the pressure with the height? We will see it in the coming chapters. But for now, there is another term which is named as pressure, due to which you are able to cook your food. So these things which I have shown you, pressure, light, sound, heat, atom, these are occurring naturally around you. You can see them, you can realize them, you can feel them right now. And these are the things which are naturally occurring. Next thing, there is another phenomena, there is another thing which you call reflection. Now what is reflection? We will discuss it. But another physical phenomena which we can see around us is what? Reflection. There are other parameters as well. So there are n number of such parameters which are occurring in the nature naturally, and study of these forces, I am giving them a name, and the name is forces. So all these forces are occurring in the nature, and study of these forces and their interrelations, like when I speak, you hear a sound. When I switch on the light, you see me. So light and sound together are giving a phenomena due to which you people are able to see this video. So basically, all these forces studied independently, or a joint study is what forming your physics. So my dear students, in the entire subject of the physics, what you people will be learning, you will be learning the naturally or physically occurring things which are present around you, and their interrelations. So this is the study of the physics, right? Now, if I have to write a definition in one line, what is physics? Now, combining this first page and the second page, I'll be giving you a definition, and you people will be writing it when I speak it, right? Physics is the study of nature or naturally occurring things which can be felt physically, right? So this is what your physics is. So I'm just getting aside, you people can write it down, you people can take a screenshot of it so that we can proceed, right? All right, so we are proceeding to the next part. Next definition. There is one word which I am saying from the very beginning, that is physical quantities. There is one word which I am saying from the very beginning, and the word is physical quantities. Now, before we proceed further, I will make you understand it a bit more. What are the physical quantities, right? I will help you to understand it a bit more, right? Now, suppose I say I'm talking with you guys, right? I'm explaining you a topic very calmly. You people are understanding it very calmly. Now, all of a sudden, I start scolding you. I start shouting on you. You people will be having some emotions. Some of you may be angry, some of you may be sad. Now that emotion is what? Which we can only feel, we cannot see it, we cannot measure it. So when I say something like emotions, something like love, something like sad, all of you must be loving your parents or some of the other person in your life. All of you must be feeling sad or happy about one thing or the other thing. So all these things are not physical. All these things are not physical. And since these things are not physical, they cannot be measured. And once they cannot be measured, they are not in the category of physical quantities. Got my point? They are not in the category of physical quantities. Now, what are the physical quantities? Please try to understand. Physical quantities are nothing which can be measured. Now, I say, what is the dimension of this pen? This must be having some length. This must be having some length. So, basically, length is a physical quantity. Again, all of you must be wondering, what is my height? Again, a length. All of you must be wondering, what is your own weight? So what is that? That is mass. Mass is again what? A physical quantity. Mass is what? Again a physical quantity which can be measured. Which can be measured. So what we are having length, we are having mass. There are other parameters also like heat or temperature. We can measure the temperature. All of you always keep saying it. Today is 20 degrees Celsius. Today is 25 degrees Celsius. Today is very cold. It is around 2 degrees Celsius. Somewhere in the Himachal or the Himalayas, we are having even in the minus. So that is what? That is your temperature. Got my point? Now coming. So there are n number of such units. There are n number of such units which are occurring physically and which can be measured. They will be lying under the physical quantities, and something which cannot be measured will be named as not physical quantity. Right? So write down the definition of the physical quantities. Write down the definition of the physical quantities. Now the definition says those quantities which can be measured are known as physical quantities. For example, we have length, we have mass, we have heat, we have n number of such parameters, right? So all of them are known as physical quantities, and emotions, love, sad, these parameters will not be coming under the category of physical quantities because they cannot be measured, right? So let us proceed. Alright, now when we proceed, we come to the next part. We understood what is physics, right? We understood what is physics. Physics is the study of the physical quantities. What are the physical quantities? You realize them, right? And you also understood what are not the physical quantities. But there were some very famous scientists. Who did this study. There were some very famous scientists who did this study, due to whom we people are able to read the physics today, due to whom we are having the subject physics today. Now whatever the examination you go and appear, in which physics is being asked, there are always the chances or the probability that they will be asking a question from the scientist part, right? So all of us must be familiar with those famous personalities, those famous people who gave us the subject physics, right? One by one we will be writing about all those scientists, right? So that when we discuss the individual chapters and when I quote that this scientist did this, you people must be familiar with it. Alright? So the very first person about whom we study is Aristotle and Plato. These are the two guys about whom we'll be studying at first. So the very first thing is Aristotle and Plato. Why they are coming at the first? Neither Newton, neither Einstein, no one is coming at the first. Why? The only reason is the study of sciences. Both of them were Greek. Let me write it down. Greek scientists. Both of them were Greek. The Greek scientists, and they pioneered the study of science. The study of science. What is the meaning of pioneered? That means they started the study of sciences. They were the first person on this planet who thought that there is something known as science as per the documents. Without the documents, though, you must be knowing that Rama, the Lord Rama and the Ramna and all the Hindu mythology people are doing it from the ages. But when I say, as per the books, as per the documents, Aristotle and Plato were the first people who pioneered the sciences study, right? Now, the second person who is coming in the list is Galileo. Very interesting person, very interesting fellow, right? Why I am saying him interesting fellow? You will observe it yourself. I am naming it Galileo. Galilei was the full name, but I am writing it only as Galileo. Reason being, it is a short name here. Alright, so who was Galileo? Let me explain you. Galileo was a very impressive fellow. Why? He was the first person who discovered a telescope. He was the first person who discovered telescope. He discovered telescope. Now, what is so special about telescope? A telescope is helping us, or will help us to see the objects even out of this planet Earth. So, till the time Galileo gave this telescope, we were only seeing the objects which are present on the planet Earth. But after the discovery of the wonderful telescope, he was able to observe the things even out of this planet. Now, he discovered something very wonderful. It sounds very interesting. But when he discovered the telescope, he was so obsessed with it that he got blind. How he got blind? He kept on seeing the sun with the help of telescope. He kept on seeing. Suppose this is the telescope, he kept looking at the sun, and when he kept looking at the sun, he got blind. Right? So he got blind finally. Right? Now, he was punished by church. Now, the two people in the history of the science were punished by church. There were two people in the history of sciences who were punished by the church. And those people were, first is Galileo, second I'll tell you the name in a very short while. Galileo was punished by the church. Why? Galileo, the reason for his punishment by church was, Galileo said that suppose this is the sun. And this sun is a stationary object. At that time, it was unknown to the scientists that sun is stationary or not. But he said and proved it that sun is stationary, whereas the churches were saying that sun is not stationary. So churches said that you are spreading myth in the society, you are spreading something which is not as per the norms of the church in the society, so your book will be banned. So whatever book was given by him was banned. His book was banned, and he was punished by the church. Got it? Why he was punished? Because he said sun was stationary, right? Alright. And it is a fact that sun is stationary, right? Now, coming to the next scientist. I'll show you this once again. You people can note it down, and then we will move to the next. Alright. So, next fellow who came in the list is Copernicus. Next fellow who came in the list is, third fellow in the list is Copernicus. Now, who was Copernicus? Copernicus was again punished by church. He is the second fellow who was punished by church. For what? For the same reason, but he proved it. He made it very concrete that sun is stationary. So after the Copernicus, it became a fact that sun is stationary and no further discussions were made on it. Right? So if someone asks you in some question that who gave it that sun is stationary, it was Galileo who proposed it, but the final information, the concrete information was given by Copernicus. Alright, now coming to the next fellow. Next fellow is someone with whom all of us are very familiar. The name is the great Mr. Newton. Now, Newton is known as father of physics. And the reasons you will get to know very soon why this fellow is known as father of physics. All of you must have heard several stories about Newton. Now, what are the stories which you heard? Just summarize those stories in your mind. I'm coming to them in a while, right? Newton is the next fellow we are discussing about, and Newton is known as the father of physics. Why he is known as the father of physics? Because almost all the laws in the physics were given by this fellow. I'll explain it a bit more. Before he came, all the theories given by the scientists were only theories. They were not supported by some laws. He was the first person who started giving laws in the physics, and hence you will find in almost every corner of the physics his laws are interrelated, and hence he is known as the father of physics. Alright, now he invented, again, a wonderful fellow, you must be knowing, right? Again, he did a very, very wonderful job, and that is he invented another branch of maths named as calculus. So he is also the father of calculus, or the originator of the calculus. So he invented another branch of mathematics that is known as the calculus, right? And he gave laws in all branches of the physics. All branches of physics. Alright, dear students. Now, till now what we studied, Copernicus and Newton. We are done with the two more fellows, right? Both of them were wonderful, both of them were very good, but Newton is known as the father of physics because we will be studying it in the coming time, in the due course, that all the laws of the physics are formulated by Newton only, right? And calculus is entirely given by Newton. So I'm just setting aside, you people can note it down, and we will proceed further, right? Now, coming to the next fellow. The next fellow is none other than the great Archimedes. So we are done with 4 fellows. The 5th fellow is Archimedes. Now, why Archimedes is popular? All of you must have heard about Archimedes. See, spellings you must be finding different at different places. The most popular spelling is, see, all of these names are coming from some other languages, right? So in the Indian books, the name which you will find, it will be by this name. A-R-C-H they will be writing. So it will be Archimedes, right? This way. So nothing to worry about the spellings if you get that some of the spellings are not matching, right? If you get some of the spellings are not matching, nothing to worry about, right? Alright. Now Archimedes. Archimedes was the only person who gave the study of the buoyancy. He gave the study of the buoyancy. All of you must be knowing what is buoyancy, right? So law of buoyancy. If you do not know what is buoyancy, we will study in the coming chapters that law of buoyant forces, or the buoyancy was given by whom? It was given by your Archimedes only, right? Buoyancy. I will write it, law of buoyancy. Alright, see, words may get a bit blur in the between, but nothing to worry about. As soon as I'll come back in the center, this will get clear, right? So nothing to worry about. Alright, now law of buoyancy. Also the Archimedes said a very famous quote. He said that I can lift the entire earth merely with a lever. He was also known as the lever person. Lever. He said that entire earth can be lifted with the help of a lever. Lifted with a lever. Lever is what? A rod sort of a thing, right? So he said that entire earth I will lift it with the help of a rod. Right? So a very powerful fellow. He seems to be a very powerful fellow, right? We will be studying in detail when we will be studying about law of buoyancy, we will be studying about law of levers, we will be studying it in details, right? Nothing to worry about. Let us study about the next fellow. Now, next fellow is Cavendish. Sixth person is Cavendish. What he did, he discovered, we will not discuss much in detail about him because not that popular of a fellow, discovered value of G in laboratory. You know what is G? This G. We will be discussing in a lot about it when we will be studying what? Yes, you are getting it right, the laws of gravitation, right? So he discovered the value of G in the laboratory. He was the first person who discovered the value of G in the laboratory, right? Next comes the mathematician, the great mathematician Kepler. Next comes the great mathematician named as Kepler. Seventh is Kepler. You can write in the name only, he is none other than the great mathematician. The great mathematician. Now you must be wondering why I am writing the name of a mathematician in the list of the name of the physicist. Please try to understand, no physics is complete without the mathematics. In the due course you will understand that the entire physics will be needing the help of the maths, will be needing the help of the calculus, which was given by the great Newton, right? So Kepler was the person who was a great mathematician and hence gave certain basis to the certain laws which were given by the Newton. The basic example of it is, I'll give you an example. Laws of Newton for planetary motion. Planetary motion. The studies were given by whom? The Newton. But the basis of it, the mathematics of it came from the great Kepler, right? So he was the great mathematician who laid the foundation for the several studies